All right, so let's welcome on our college football analysts in Damien Harris and Richard Johnson. Great to see you guys. We're going to break this all down, starting at the quarterback position. Cade Klubnik, that is the CBS Sports All-America team quarterback. Richard, does that feel right to you?
You know, he wasn't on my ballot personally. I am a voter in our illustrious All-America team. I'm honored to have a vote. I personally didn't have him there, but I do get it because I think when you look at this Clemson passing game, they have not had a 1,000-yard receiver since the days of Trevor Lawrence. But last year, you started to see that Clemson passing game get into gear, especially late in the season. Cade Klubnik finally paying off the promise that he's had as a very, very talented high school prospect when he came in a few years ago. He's finally starting to put up some numbers. I do have Clemson as a top 4 seed in my mythical college football playoff if we started it today. And I think if that's the case, then Cade will have powered them there. I think the wide receiver room is filling out. They add a very, very intriguing FCS prospect in Tristan Smith to potentially give them that kind of Mike Williams vertical threat to align with Bryant Wesco and the receivers that they have in the room. So I'm excited about this Clemson offense, and I think Cade Klubnik powering it is gonna level up, get even better this season.
Yeah, and I agree with Richard. You made a lot of really good points. I might not necessarily have put him on my ballot, which, let's be clear, I'm not Richard Johnson, so I don't get a vote just yet, maybe one day. But, you know, it definitely makes sense. And I think the two things that Cade Klubnik have on his side are experience and continuity. He's going into his senior year, and not only is he going into his senior year, he's been with the same program the entire time. So he's actually been there longer than offensive coordinator Garrett Riley. But what I mean when I say continuity is it seems like Cade Klubnik has that connection to Dabo Swinney that we've seen all the great Clemson quarterbacks have. Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, so on and so forth. So I think from an experience standpoint, listen, when you're going into your senior year, especially as a quarterback that has already played at a high level, there's not going to be a lot of things that opposing defenses can throw at you that you haven't seen before. So there's not going to be this element of, oh, I've never seen this blitz. I've never seen this coverage pattern. Oh, there's a blitzer coming from this side. I wasn't expecting it. No, he's got the experience. And then again, the continuity within the infrastructure of the team. We know that Clemson is a team that's very different. It's a program that's different from a lot of other places. They don't like to go outside and go into the transfer portal. They like to get guys and keep them. They're not as transactional as other teams. So again, you pair Cade Klubnik with Dabo Swinney, and also he's been there the entire time the offensive coordinator Garrett Riley has been there. That continuity piece is going to take them a long way and allow them to have some success that other teams that are a lot more transactional won't necessarily have.
Richard, before we move on, are you allowed to tell us who you put instead, or is that like top secret information?
Well, you know, we got to keep some secrets behind the curtain. But I got to say, Damien Harris does not need a vote. Damien Harris is my All-American. He's my RB1 6 days a week and twice on Sunday.
All right, same. I co-sign that sentiment, my friend. All right, let's talk about two veteran running backs that make the team in Jeremiyah Love and Nick Singleton. Damien, I'll come to you here. No surprise with these two guys.
No, not at all. And starting with Jeremiyah Love, I mean, this is RB1 in college football season. You talk about the surprising strength at the point of contact. You pair that with the home run speed that he has. Now, listen, once he gets to the NFL Combine, I'm not sure that he's going to have the fastest 40 time. But I guarantee you, when you turn his tape on, he is the fastest player in all of college football. And we saw glimpses of this all throughout the season, even in the postseason, there were times when he was hurt. Him and Riley Leonard led Notre Dame to that national championship. And then looking at this year, another year under his belt, another offseason to develop and continue to progress on the track that he's on. This is my pick for the Doak Walker Award that goes to the college football's best running back of the season. I mean, this is a prototypical first-round pick. He's got the size, he's got the strength at the point of contact, he's got the ability to be a 3-down back and catch passes out of the backfield. And again, when you talk about that speed, that's just something you can't coach, that's something that you can't teach, and speed destroys everything.
All right, if we go to the defense, we have two Texas Longhorns on the list in Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill. So, Richard, what does this kind of tell us overall about the Longhorns defense and how it's going to look this season if we have these two guys that are on this All-America team leading the charge for the Longhorns?
Jacqueline, we haven't even mentioned Michael Taft. He's not on this team. He's the tremendous safety that Texas has. Texas is stacked on all three levels of this defense. Should be one of, if not the best defense in college football this season. My one question mark with Texas is in the defensive interior. They're bringing in some new transfer portal pieces at defensive tackle. This is kind of the third year in a row that they've changed out up front on the defensive interior. As long as that's settled, I got no problem with Texas as the best defense in football. And these two players that you see on the screen, some of the best defensive players in college football, no matter who they're playing with. Colin Simmons is an absolute freak coming off the edge. And Anthony Hill, guy's got a supercomputer for a brain as a linebacker there. They are just really, really good players. Can't wait to see them shine this season.
All right, and there you see it there, our All-America defense team. A reminder, you can find it online at cbssports.com. If we look at this list in totality, there's 6 teams with 2 players each on the All-America team, and Penn State leading the way with 3 players. So a lot of our analysts are saying, hey, this is the year for Penn State. If there's a year to kind of get ahead of Ohio State, this is it for James Franklin and company, right? So is this All-America team, Damien, and the fact that Penn State is leading the way indicative of what we're going to see for Penn State in the CFP and beyond?
Well, it should, especially when you look at the positions of these 3 potential All-American players. I mean, first of all, Nick Singleton, and we didn't get to him, but another phenomenal back that could creep his way into the first round discussion. Then you've got preseason All-Americans on the offensive line and the defensive line. So that tells me that Penn State should be able to dominate the trenches on both sides of the ball, and they should be able to run the ball effectively, because not only do they have Nick Singleton coming back, they also have Katron Allen coming back. So you've got a 2-headed monster. Then you've got 2 preseason All-Americans in the trenches. Like, Richard, you know this. The trenches are where football games are won and lost. And to go a step further, teams that can run the football and stop the run, those are the teams that you usually see playing at the end of the season in the college football playoff, potentially playing for a national championship. So we're hoping, just for James Franklin's sake, I mean, if not, he's probably going to be run out of Happy Valley. He almost got run out last year by, what was it, a Kappa Alpha Order fraternity brother, or a pledge or something like that. He almost got run out last season. But if the Penn State team, with the talent that we all know that they have, do not finally get over the hump, we're going to be sitting here having the same exact conversation that we've been having, it seems like, for years. When is enough with James Franklin?
It's crazy because you can get to the CFP and still, if you're a Big Ten team with high expectations, you gotta win it all. And Ryan Day knows that better than probably any other Big Ten coach. But still, there is a lot of love for the Nittany Lions kind of all across the board here on this list, including the aforementioned James Franklin, because he is the CBS Sports Preseason Coach of the Year. Richard, will you give him that nod over, say, Ryan Day? Is that someone that you agree with being in that position, James Franklin?
Yeah, you know, I think that what Penn State did last year was get so close to getting over the hump, right? To their credit, they did win games in the postseason. Now, they beat Boise State and SMU. Those were teams that they were supposed to beat. And then they get to Notre Dame, and they had a fighting chance to win that game at the end, but were not able to get over the hump. So now there's really only one thing for Penn State to do, for James Franklin to do with this Penn State program. I think anything short of a Big Ten championship berth and a berth in the semifinal of the national championship game is an absolute failure for this Penn State team. I want to give James Franklin a lot of credit, by the way. One of the things that they did in the offseason was say, hey, our receivers are not up to snuff. We're going to change over that entire room, bringing in a player like Trevor Pena, for instance, from Syracuse, who I think is going to be a really, really good player, and a freshman, Kobe Howard, also, who's a name to know. He's been a slot receiver who's really been wrecking shop in camp. I just think that Penn State has done so much under James Franklin. There's just one thing left to do. It's a hard summit to climb. It took Ryan Day quite a while, and he had appeared in national championship games and gotten so close. There's only one thing for James Franklin left to do at Penn State.
All right, let's make our way down the awards list. In the preseason, Heisman winner doesn't go to a quarterback, but rather it is Ohio State star wideout and Jeremiyah Smith. Right now, he's at 12-1. Those are the odds for him to win the Heisman. The best odds for a non-quarterback. But Damien, you know, it's the sentiment, the best player on the best team, right? That's usually how it goes. But what kind of season does he need to have and Ohio State need to have for him to actually win the Heisman?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Jacqueline. All Jeremiyah Smith needs to do is what we all think that he's going to do, which is be the best player in college football. And I'll say, one, if he does that, Ohio State will be one of the best football teams in the country. But two, I don't know if in totality, whether it's media members, whether it's fans at home, coaches, players, etc., I don't know if we quite understand what we're witnessing and what we're watching when we see Jeremiyah Smith play. He is as technically sound as he is, as athletic as he is, he still has the ability to just go out and just be better than the people that line up against him. And listen, I don't need to sit here and tell anybody how big and strong he is, how he has strong hands, how he's faster than everybody. Just turn on his tape. You'll see it. But what I am here to do is tell the people the truth. And my truth is, if Jeremiyah Smith continues to progress at the rate that we think he can and is more than capable of, and not only do we think he can do it, he thinks he can do it as well, this could be the best wide receiver. And I know people are going to look at me crazy. We could be in the midst of seeing the best wide receiver, not only in the history of college football, but all time, period. Again, there's a lot of things he has to do. He's got to get to the NFL first. He's got to put up that 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns that he said he would do as a 19-year-old freshman. Yes, we understand that. But again, looking at what we see on the field, looking at not only that, the way that Ohio State and Coach Hartline, the wide receiver coach at Ohio State, the way that he has developed first round pick after first round pick after first round pick after first round pick. And not to mention, he is the offensive coordinator now calling plays. I mean, this is just a recipe for success and development for Jeremiyah Smith. And I will say it again, if he continues on the trajectory that he's on right now, and we've only gotten a serving size, we've only seen one season of it, he could go down as one of the best ever.
Jeremiyah Smith, by the way, the only unanimous selection in this year's voting. All right, finally, the CBS Sports preseason freshman of the year. That goes to Bryce Underwood as he tries to bring the Wolverines back into the title conversation. So what are your expectations for him in Ann Arbor, Richard?
I think it's got to be Bryce Underwood for this award, because at the end of the day, if he comes on like people think he can, and it may take a little bit for him, because I think in the early going, that Michigan coaching staff is going to have to try to get him to play fast and loose and free. It's okay if you make mistakes. You're a freshman. People are going to expect it. They've got an early September tilt against Oklahoma where Brent Venables is going to throw the kitchen sink at him. He's got to be ready for that as a passer. But the body type, the dual threat ability, it's just absolutely tantalizing to think about what this guy brings to the table. It was such a coup for Michigan to get him. I mean, first and foremost, he's in their backyard. Originally committed to LSU. The Jim Harbaugh regime wasn't really giving him the time of day. He didn't really vibe with them. But then when Sharon Moore became the full-time head coach, things changed. And they were more open to Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood was more open to them. And over the course of the fall, you saw that relationship bud and end up with him flipping from LSU to Michigan. It was just such a huge recruiting win for the Michigan Wolverines. I think it takes a lot of the pressure off of Sharon Moore as well to have this quarterback that everybody understands is a freshman. Let's see what he can do this year. You know, there's not so much pressure for him to come in immediately and take them to like the national championship. He's a freshman quarterback. Let's just see what he can do. But if he lives up to his potential, easily freshman of the year.
Also, shout out to Tom Brady.
Jacqueline, I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to piggyback off of Richard and say he better. All that money that they gave him to commit, to flip his commitment, he better, because let me say this. It's time for us to start putting our foot down again and demanding what these universities are paying for. I mean, they need to be demanding it, but also as fans, as people who analyze the game, well, you got paid a boatload of money, probably more money than a lot of guys, maybe 95% of NFL players are making on a roster. Go show you're worth that money. Go show you're worth it. That's all I'm going to say.
I feel you, man. It's the money in NIL here is absolutely crazy in college football in this day and age. Damien, Richard, we appreciate it going through CBS Sports' All-America team. By the way, you can find that over on CBSSports.com for a full article. The Big Ten on CBS returns August 30th, so CBS will have a Big Ten game in that 3:30 p.m. slot every Saturday, and it kicks off with Penn State facing Nevada. And, of course, you can stream all the action on Paramount Plus as well.